G'day, let's have a look at this TP-Link PoE network switch. This is a 28 port gigabit smart switch and 24 of those ports are PoE powered. So all of these Ethernet ports here are actually going to be PoE powered as well. So the power over Ethernet, and that's just to power things like security cameras or any IoT devices or anything like that straight off of this. Then on the side here, we've got these other 4 ports, so 25, 26, 27, 28. And these ports here are for a little SFP module. So SFP modules will just sit in here, and what they do is they just have a fiber transceiver on them, and then the other side plugs into the actual copper connection there. So that's how you can have fiber directly into this switch on all 4 of these ports. Now this whole switch is just made out of nice metal. It's got a really nice coating to it, sort of a matte finish and a nice texture. On the side, we just have a few holes here because you can put extra brackets on this to rack mount it, and then just some ventilation holes there. On the other side, we've got the same sort of thing. We've got these screw holes up the top, and then looks like we've got 2 ventilation fans there. So it's going to just be there for cooling. On the back, we just have 1 power coming in. We've got a lock there, so this can be locked in place. And then just an earthing port there, so this can just go straight to earth in case there is any faults or anything with this. That'll just short circuit down to earth and not go through anyone that might be touching it. And then top and bottom don't really have anything to it, just some product information. But it looks like there's actually just 2 screws here to actually open this front cover up. So we'll just dig straight into it. They're actually really small screws, but I guess there's probably not much that they have to actually be holding in place. The top cover would probably just slide in place and then just be held there by these 2 screws, but not actually taking any loading or anything like that. Actually, I was mistaken. There's a few more on the side here. There's a screw there, and then there might be more on the other side, so I'll take them off. Alright, so now that's it. That front cover, or the top cover, actually just comes off really nicely, and then we're straight into it. So I guess let's start here. This is the power supply side, so we've got that live and neutral coming in through a really nice connector actually into this, and then we've got earth going straight to the case. So in case there's any issues there, that can just, any short circuits, that'll just go to earth and return down to ground. We do have this insulating cover on the top, so that's just going to be to prevent any of these components here from touching that metal case. We bend that over and just have a little bit of a better look at that actual power supply. Straight coming in, we've got a couple of capacitors, a couple of inductors there, and then we've got 2 transformers. So underneath here, there's a transformer there, and then we've got a bigger transformer there as well. A couple of nice big caps next to it. And then these guys here are just going to be the rectifier, so that'll be converting the actual AC into a DC signal. And likewise on this side here, we've got a couple more capacitors, a little inductor, and just looks like another little controller there, so probably another rectifier there. So I think the reason this has the 2 transformers is because this is going to have a high voltage and a lower voltage side. So the PoE, so the power over Ethernet on these is on specific pins, and that runs between, I think it's about between 44 and 57 volts, so call it 48, 50 volts. That runs on that, and then that can draw the power. And then we've got the actual Ethernet protocols as well that gets powered. It can also be on the same voltage, but it takes a lot less power. So my guess here is that we've just got a dedicated one. I'd say the bigger one is probably for the PoE, and we've got the dedicated power supply for the PoE side, and then we have a smaller transformer here that will handle all of the more sensitive electronics. So the good way to split it up is if you've got any faults, any ripples or surges or anything like that in any actual PoE devices that's connected to this, you don't really want any of that coming through into the board and affecting any of the communication electronics. So again, that's why I think they split that up into 2. And then as I take this off, we've got that power from the power supply unit coming into this main board. So this main board, got the one on the bottom, and it's just going to have all of the actual communication protocols on there. So underneath this big heatsink here, this is actually quite a nice heatsink, where you're going to have the actual microprocessor that's going to be doing all of the processing for the different communications that are actually running through this. And then there's going to be a couple of other supporting chips on the side as well to just stabilize some power supply, the little inductors there as well. couple more regulators, and a couple of other chips. They're probably just going to be communication conversion chips. Now I'll just try to pull this board up here because I'm not sure what this actually is. Okay, so that looks like a regulation board. So if I flip it this way, we've just got a whole bunch of transistors all over the place on it. So I think this would be the PoE distribution board. So we're going to have that PoE power coming in probably through here into the board through these headers, and then that's all going to get split up across the various channels. So I think we've got 24 channels of PoE. Yeah, so 24 PoE ports just on the side, and we got 4, 8, so 16. Yeah, so 24. We're going to have 24 different transistors here. So each of those ports will have its own little transistor. So this board's going to have to communicate back with the main chip to give it status, and perhaps even, I'm not sure if this one is switchable, if you can switch that PoE on and off on the different circuit, but if there is, this is what's going to be doing that. So all of these little chips will just be turning it on and off. These little microcontrollers just next to these groups of 4 transistors, they're going to be doing the actual control of these transistors, so just turning them on and off whenever necessary. So that's a neat way they've done this, just shoved all of that on this board and then just sandwiched that on top with these headers. There's no cooling or anything on this, so these obviously wouldn't taking up too much load because there's no heatsink or anything on this. So that's that board. We can put that aside, and then we've got that main board here. So I won't unscrew this any further. We can pretty much see enough here, I think. So again, we've got that microcontroller or microprocessor in here that's going to be doing all the processing and all the actual conversions for the communications protocols for this. It's good to see we've got crystal oscillators here as well. So next to each of these chips, there's a crystal oscillator right next to it. And the reason that's there is because these crystal oscillators will provide a really precise frequency. So the time of all of these chips can be held really precisely. And then going further, these black boxes here, they're going to be the actual transformers that do decoupling actually of this PCB with the actual cables that go out. So each of these will have a little transformer circuit sitting inside. That's there just to decouple the two systems together. And effectively, it'll also act as a bit of a common mode choke. So it'll act as a low pass filter. It'll filter out any sort of high frequency, because these long PoE cables, depending on the distance, but the longer there are, the easier it is for them to act as an antenna and effectively pick up a lot of interference that goes through there as well. Having that transformer there and this whole sort of mechanism in place just stabilizes the waveform as well. So the microcontroller will have less noise when it's actually trying to figure things out and run those communications protocols there as well. That's mostly it on this side here. This is all shielded because there's going to be high speed protocols through there, but that's just little slits of what I talked about with those SFP modules that you can slide in. Not sure how well you can actually see inside there. Yeah, that just, oh, maybe there. You could just see little terminals down the bottom there, which will just be right at the end down here. But it's nice to see that that has its own little shielding around it as well. So that's just in its own little circuit. Then the other thing we've got here on this side is we've just got a ribbon cable coming from this main motherboard that goes onto that little control board on the front. So that's just going to be passing power and communications to that. I'll flip this around to get it the right way. And we've just got these LEDs out the front. So a little switch here just changes it between speed or PoE indication, and then each port has its own little LED light. Now, depending on what mode it is, if you're looking at speed, you've got the different speeds there and flashings for activity, and then for PoE, you've got delivering power over budget, or you've got a fault. So these lights here will flash either speed, or you can press that button to toggle it over to PoE, so you can compare what's going on and see it at a glance. And then just on this side here, we've got two fans. They're quite small, but they're quite thick, so I think they'll be high-speed ones, and that'll just pull air. Actually, that'll push air out. I think that'll be pushing air out. So we're pulling air in from this side, where we've got this perforations on the case, pulling it in from there, running through all those components, and then getting sucked out here and pushed out to the side, just keeping everything cold. And you can see these little chips here all have their own cooling, and they've got these ribs which are facing this way in line with the airflow to increase that surface area that's exposed to that airflow, just to provide optimal cooling. But that's it. I think that's it with this one. I'll leave it there. So if you enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more of this sort of stuff, consider subscribing, and have a great day.